Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 20, part 2 of the D's.
Halfway through.
Halfway through the D's.
The
yes.
D's.
The D's. Anyway, we're a long way from halfway through. Anyhow, before we get started, if you like this type of content, if you have found what we're doing entertaining, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the like button, maybe even hitting the bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And go ahead and follow us on our social media, please. Okay, with that, we got 18 games that started with D that we're going to go through. We got some good games.
We got some dice.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, we got some good games. We got some decent games. We got some dice games. And we got some games that, well, you'll see. So we're going to first start off with Disney Princess Wishes card game. The game is so fabulous, I don't remember it.
This was a card game, obviously geared toward children.
Mm-hmm.
This is a take on memory. Definitely requires some memory to play it. But at the same time, it feels almost like the Christmas song, the 12 Days of Christmas. The way this is played, there is a wishing well. This goes in the middle of the table. Done, right? Then there is, I got to start with this guy. So then everybody gets handed out half of the cards. You divide them amongst everybody who's playing. And then
2 to 4 players.
You start with, everybody lays down one card at a time, and you start with, I'm wishing for Prince Charming. And then the next person lays down a card, well, not that card, and says, oh, I'm wishing for Prince Charming and a castle. And then the next person goes, well, I'm wishing for Prince Charming, a castle, and, oh, look, a cozy fire.
It's and so sad we'll have to crush those wishes.
The person after that goes, well, this just keeps getting better.
Well, it's a party now.
The next person goes, I'm wishing for Prince Charming, a castle, a cozy fire, and an invitation. Now, if you forget, and you happen to have one of these dreams come true, dreams that you wish come true cards, you can play this. You can play that and take a peek at the rest of the stack and then do your series. But you keep doing this till somebody flubs up.
I hate to say it. It's a kid's game, but you know what this really reminds me of?
What's that?
From back in the day, an old drinking game.
That's bad.
Yes, it is.
This one's going to hit the sale pile. I don't think it. Oh, it might be funny to see teenagers play this one, but nonetheless, it's geared toward 4-year-olds. So we're going to go ahead and throw this one onto the sale pile, and hopefully, it will see some love in some little girl's house.
So we're going to go right along with that Disney theme, and now we're going to talk about Disney's Sidekicks.
All right. Well, Disney Sidekicks, it is a cooperative game where you are playing Disney Sidekicks, trying to defeat the villains and save the heroes that you're associated with. So, for example, let's see, there is Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast, where you are where you are trying to save Belle, and you are trying to defeat, of course, Gaston. There are the 3 fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather from Sleeping Beauty, where you are trying to save Aurora and defeat Maleficent. I couldn't remember the name of the evil queen. Or Tinkerbell, and you're trying to save Peter and defeat Captain Hook. Or
Timon and Simba. No, Timon and Pumbaa.
Simba. You're trying to save Simba from Scar, naturally. And last but not least, Abu trying to save Aladdin from Jafar. Okay, so this one, the board is just a series of paths with a big castle in the middle. Let me get this opened up real quick. And you are moving around the board. Oh, there it is. The board does define between multiple players, so it is dual-sided for 2 to 3 players or 4 players. So I do like that it does scale.
Mm-hmm.
All of your heroes that you're trying to rescue are in a castle in the center, and the castle is actually really nice. I can't fault the components in this game. That is for sure. The castle is a 3D put together piece that goes in the middle of the board. You are moving around the board trying to stay away from, but yet at the same time defeat the bad guy that you're associated with, or the other bad guy, because you can defeat other people's bad guys too. Meanwhile, you're looking for ways to unlock the gates, the gates to the castle, so that you can get in and rescue your hero. You are rescuing villagers so that you can open up special powers on some of the cards that you have chosen from the beginning of the game. Each person or each sidekick has their own abilities that they can do, as does each villain. Mm-hmm. The only fault I have with this game is the size of these chips. These chips are so...
You just don't like small chips?
I don't. They are teeny tiny. So, but it is what it is. Overall, it's a decent game. Mm-hmm. We've played this twice. After the first play, we decided it was not something that we would play very often, so we put it into the travel collection. Mm-hmm. We played it again as part of this series and lost in the first 3 rounds. The first time we won,
I lost in the first 3 rounds.
You were
Timon
killed.
And Pumbaa died.
Scar killed you very quickly. Mm-hmm. So this one is in the travel collection. It is going to stay there. I think it is a decent game. It holds a fair amount of strategy, just in who you go after and when, and which powers that you need to activate when, and so there is some strategy involved. But otherwise, it's a decent, move around on a map type of thing. So, but this is going to stay in the travel collection. This is Disney Sidekicks.
Next along the Disney theme is, this is where we're testing my Disney knowledge, and apparently I don't have a lot of. This is Disney, The Wonderful World of Music game. This comes with a music box.
I wish I'd left the batteries in this. I really do.
But it's basically a trivia game. You're moving around. You're going to get a card. The color of the card is what the question is. And the person reading the card is going to... She's going to pull it out.
I'm going to pull it out because it's neat. I have no fault with that.
So the person who's reading it's going to put in a code that's on one of the cards, and it's going to hit play. It's going to play a music.
It's going to play a melody.
Yeah, it's part
just
of the
musical,
question.
Yes.
So a lot of it is, what movie is this song from, or are these the lyrics to this song?
Let's see, for 3, true or false, these are lyrics to this song, and then it'll play a melody, and you have to decide, is that the correct song? Mm-hmm. Or for 1 space, name the 2 lead characters that sing this song from Beauty and the Beast, and they play the song of Gaston. So you have to guess Gaston and LeFou. LeFou? I think that's how it's... Yeah, it's LeFou. Anyway, regardless. So it's different trivia questions that have to do with the music of Disney, not just the characters itself. I thought it was really interesting, and I actually enjoyed the game a lot. This was an easier trivia game for me than most. The little player pieces are absolutely adorable. But that being said, it is still a trivia game. It is 20 years old now, I want to say. 2002. So yes, 20 years old, which unfortunately makes it dated. So this one is going to go on the sale pile, just because, for a couple reasons. 1, it is dated. 2, as much I love this gimmick, if I can get it back out here, I love the gimmick of the music player. It really set the tone for the whole game. However, it's loud. So, and there is a way to quiet it down, but then you can't hear it. So I just don't know that it will work in the type of setting that we're taking these games to. So this one's going to go ahead and hit the sale pile, and hopefully somebody else can show it some love. So that is Disney's Wonderful World of Music, and it is unfortunately hitting the sale pile.
Next, we have The Wonderful World of Disney Trivia and Trivia 2. They are identical games.
Yes. Well, we actually have a third one that I did not realize was an identical game. It is a smaller silver reel that is titled Disney Trivia 2, the sequel. It is literally the exact same game, just in a different tin.
It does have the sequel in there. I didn't
It
really
does.
notice
It's
that.
the sequel, yeah. Now, this game we've had for years. We bought this when the kids were little. And it has been in our personal collection for a very long time. This guy I found at Goodwill, totally forgetting about him, and picked him up as with the other silver reel, which has hit the sale pile a long time ago. But, okay, so we played them both. Good games, very similar to Trivial Pursuit in the way they play. You roll the dice, you move, you get the set of ears. Instead of a pie piece like in Trivial Pursuit, you are getting a set of ears. Well, a ring to go on your set of ears, I guess, for the color that you chose, the color that you landed on and got correct. And then, of course, if you get it correct, you go again. Exact same thing as Trivial Pursuit, only, quite frankly, cuter pieces.
Well, this one, though, has those, but those just stay in front of you. These have little pewter
pieces that are
player pieces.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Like,
so, yeah, it has
like
these.
Donald Duck.
Yep. But these just, so these stay in front of you instead of moving around the board.
Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy.
So, this one here is 20 years old. This guy is 25 years old now. Or vice versa. This is 20, this is 25. Yeah, this is the older one.
Okay.
So, and as cute as the board is, and it is, it's a cute little board. Although this is just a square. But this is cute. Same situation as with music. It's dated. The good majority of the questions in here are Disney movies from when we were kids.
That apparently I haven't seen.
I guess not. So I think this one, both of these actually are going to hit the sale pile as well. We have Trivial Pursuit Disney. That one we'll make the decision when we get to the Trivial Pursuits. But for the sake of storing them, I think we're gonna go ahead and get rid of these two. I'm not real happy with trying to travel with tins after what happened last year. So last year we were coming out of an event and the wind blew over one of the bags that was unfortunately on the top of the stack of stuff we were taking out. And Sushi Go Party went everywhere because the tin just opened up, as tins do when you drop them. So we were very lucky in that we were able to get the cards replaced. So that was very nice of actually the company who does Sushi Go Party. Oh,
Game Rate?
I think you might be right. Anyway, we were very lucky that the company was very nice and sent me all my replacement cards. So that was wonderful of them. However, that being said, I don't want that to happen with these or any other tin for that matter. So these guys are going to hit the sale pile. Great trivia games, unique pieces, but again, dated. So yeah, anyway, that is the wonderful world of Disney trivia and Trivia 2.
We are now going to discuss Dice Settlers.
We're done with Disney games?
Yes, we're done with Disney games.
Okay, now we're into the dice games.
Yep.
Okay, so
this is a game by David Tracy. I had good hopes for this.
I had very high hopes for this one, but I don't. Okay, so the way this one is played, it is a dice bag builder. You start the game out with 5 dice in your bag. You get to pull 3 at a time. On your turn, you do actions based on the dice rolls, and the dice can do one of a half a dozen different things. You can explore and take new tiles from the stack to put out into the city. And the tiles give you access to certain types of landscapes, which you need in order to do technologies and a couple other things. They also give you points. A lot of them also have special abilities on them, which give you more dice or more the ability to roll more dice from your bag, or the ability to get extra resources. The dice will let you get some resources. They will let you do the trade action, which lets you trade in resources for victory points, which ultimately is what wins you the game.
Yep.
It will let you, what's the word? Recruit. You can recruit and take more dice from the supply. So you have a different variety of dice. And of course, each one of them do something just slightly different. There's one side on it that lets you manipulate your other dice. You can flip them, or you can use 2 of them to become a specific icon. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but that's the crust of the game, is you are using and manipulating your dice to do certain actions, and you get to do 2 per round. So the first couple times we played this, right after we bought it, we unfortunately missed the 2 actions per round rule somehow, and we were using all of our dice, and the game really felt flat. It was, I don't know a better word for it. It just did not resonate at all. So then we discovered we were playing it wrong. Shortly after moving it to the other collection, we discovered we were playing it wrong. So we gave it another shot. And then we played it again a couple nights ago. It's better. If you play it correctly, go figure, it is better. But it still doesn't resonate.
Yeah, it's like you said the other day, it's just kind of...
It's samey.
It's the same game.
Yeah.
No matter how you play, even though there are cards that you're going to work on getting that gives you special powers throughout the game, gives you points at the end of the game. There's a bunch of different cards for it, but it's still pretty much the same.
Yeah. I feel like...
I mean, it doesn't change it enough.
Yeah.
That, it's pretty much the same game.
I feel like we've played this 4 or 5 times, and I feel like we've explored it pretty thoroughly already. So we're going to keep this in the travel collection. I think it is a great 1 or 2 play to explore it. Yeah, leave it at that. So, but anyway, that is Dice Settlers. It is currently in the travel collection, and it will stay there.
Okay. This is kind of a theme one. We did Disney. Now we're doing Dice.
Dice, yes.
We have Dice Hospital.
Dice Hospital?
Hospital.
Okay.
I'm going to lift it up like this.
Good idea, because the insert, I have a 3D insert in here that
likes to move around.
Things tend to get moved a little bit. Dice Hospital is all about
dice.
Your dice are your patients, and you are basically running a hospital. So you have your initial hospital board, and you are running a hospital to get your dice, hopefully, to, what do they call that? The discharge room, over here to the discharge lounge. So you are running your hospital, hopefully, to get your dice to the discharge lounge and not over here to the morgue. Each round, you get to choose. Each person gets to take turns choosing from a set of either more staff or more units to put in their hospital. And you have to really do a mix of both. You need the bigger units that let you do more, but at the same time, the units don't do you any good if you don't have the staff to run them. So you get a choice of either a piece of a unit for your hospital or your staff, and then you take an ambulance that has 3 of your dice patients on it. And the patients range anywhere from 2 pips to 5 pips. And your goal is to get them all up to technically 7.
Yeah, because you have to re-roll any 1s and 6s.
You're taking your 3 patients and you're putting them down here into your admissions area. And then as the game goes on, or each round, I should say, you are deciding how you're going to treat all 12 of your patients. If you ever get more than 12, unfortunately, they pass away in the waiting room because they go straight to the morgue. So you want to make sure you don't ever overfill yourself. But your goal, again, is to get them to the discharge lounge by eventually being able to heal them up enough pips that you hit a 7.
And that's where all the doctors and nurses come in.
Right. And that's how you do so, is with your staff. So on the flip side, if you neglect patients and you don't have enough staff to do that, to do to get everybody healed up. Eventually, you're going to downgrade them so far that you downgrade them to a 0 and they go to your morgue. Okay, so thoughts on this one? I mean, I like this one. I like the dice manipulation. I agree. Again, this one can get kind of samey. It did just come out with an expansion that I absolutely adore because it came out with the hospital. And
we've not played it yet.
We've not played with the maternity ward yet. I love the little baby pink dice though. So yeah, we've not gotten to play with the maternity ward yet. And there's a community one that there's a whole slew of tiles down here that go to that build the city. Then you have a community thing. So I feel like there's a lot. They've added a lot more variability with the community cares expansion, but we've not had a chance to play it yet. So I like it. Again, I could see where it could be samey. We did get a chance to play Dice Theme Park, which is basically the same thing. Very similar. I want to try that one again. Just because I think I was very confused by the movement on that one because you are physically moving your dice through your park. And that was, I don't know. But anyway, this one sits in our collection. It will stay here. That is Dice Hospital, one of my favorites.
Okay. The next dice game we have is Dice Forge.
Yeah, definite dice theme here. How many more dice do we have over there? Oh my goodness.
1, 2.
Okay. All right, so Dice Forge. Dice Forge is, well, the gimmick in this one is the dice that you can craft. So all of your dice, everybody starts with 2 dice. Well, you get 2 dice. That's all there are. But you get 2 dice, and these pieces, the pieces just pop off like Lego pieces. And there is in the center of the board, part of the board is this tray that has a bunch, and it is rubber band together. So I'm not going to, well, okay, maybe I am. A tray with all these extra pieces that you can put onto your dice. And I'm going to make a big old mess if I try to take any of them out of there. So we're not going to do that. So throughout the game, you are rolling your dice to either get shards, purple or orange shards, fire or moon shards. You are, or to get victory points, or to get money. Money, you use your money to buy more dice faces, which can improve your dice. You upgrade and improve it. You use the shards to purchase cards. Around the board, there are a number of cards that some have different powers. Some are just straight up victory points. But you are moving your piece around to purchase these cards with either the moon or the sun shards. You are keeping track of everything on your player board. There's a number of cards. We've actually not played with everything yet. There are a number we still need to try out yet.
We still have an expansion to play.
Correct, right. I mean, I like the game. I feel like the first couple games I really enjoyed it, and then it started getting samey. So we definitely need to pull that expansion out and see if that changes things up some. But it's a good game. I like the gimmick of changing the dice. Oh, I know there's a new one out that does that too, but now I don't remember what it is.
Dice Realms. Is
it Dice Realms? Okay. I have to try that one too someday. But anyway, this, and again, this sits in our collection. It will stay there. At least till we've played it out. But yeah.
Yep, played the expansion.
Get the expansion played out and see what we do. Anyway, that is Dice Forge.
Next dice game is DiceAFARI. I know you liked this a little bit.
I enjoy it. It's very
weird for me.
It's very light. So the way this one plays is, again, it's a dice rolling game. The board is made up of a number of landscape tiles, all different types. I think there's 4 different types of landscape tiles. You set the board up. There's a number of safari cards here that are all, there are different shapes of different animals that you would find on a safari. So you set the board up in one of these shapes. When you do so, the pieces, when they're put together, create, if I can get them right side up, create these triangles in between all of the pieces. And those triangles are where you put your little pictures. You put the little photographs. The goal of the game is to collect the photographs. You do so by claiming landscapes with your Jeeps. You claim the landscapes with dice. So you roll all 5 dice every round. The number dice tells you how many landscapes that you can claim that round, between 2 and 4. Then you roll the rest of them. And it's kind of like a Yahtzee style. You have to keep 1 dice, but you can re-roll the rest. And then eventually you have your set. When you've got your final set, you're looking at the board and trying to find some that are connected. They can't be just wherever. They have to be connected to each other. So for instance, if I had rolled that as part of my roll, I can claim these 2 by putting my Jeeps on them and then pick up the picture between them. Now, the trick, though, is that even though you're going to end up with Jeeps all over the place, you can only pick up 1 picture each round. You can't pick up all the pictures, just 1. So you're strategically trying to figure out where you can control so that you can get the pictures even on later rounds if there's nothing left where you end up taking that round. But in the meantime, other players are doing the same thing. So on the next player's turn, you may lose someplace you'd already claimed because now they're claiming those areas. So it's very interesting, super light. It plays in like 15 minutes. It does not take long to play at all. It sits in the travel collection, and we're going to keep it in that collection because I do enjoy it, and I think it is a nice light game and plays very quickly. Right? I was right. Yeah, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So, but anyway, that is DiceAFARI.
The last dice game is Dice Cities.
Dice Cities.
I really like this one.
Yes, yes, I do enjoy this one. All right, so Dice City. There we go. With Dice City, the thing I like the most about this one is the fact there is no central board. There is a central set of cards, but everybody has their own player board. And this is your city when you start out the game. And when the game starts, everybody is getting 1 set of dice, of 1 of each color set of dice. And each round, you're going to roll those dice, and you're going to put them out on your board. So if I rolled a white 5, then I'm going to come here to the white row, and I'm going to put my dice right there.
And gain a...
And then gain a stone, potentially.
Yes.
Potentially. So once it's my turn, I've rolled all my dice. I have all 5 of my dice out. Now I can decide what I want to do with them. So you have the option of just taking whatever your dice are on. So I could take a stone, and here I can get a victory point, or I can add 1 to my army. Explain army. Doesn't do you much good unless you have at least 3. So that may not do you much good. Here I can get a victory point. Here I can get something else. You can either take what you've got, or you can manipulate your dice. You can take 1 die off the board to move 1 of your dice over. Maybe I don't need stone. Yeah. Maybe I don't need 2 things of stone. So I can take that army off and move it over here and get coal instead. So you can manipulate that way. Once you start getting your resources, there's a supply of cards out that you can purchase to upgrade. So like this one cost me 2 lumber, but from now on, if I put it up here, now I get 2 lumber every time I land there. Or I could put it over one of the army spaces if I don't want to concentrate on army. Now I can get 2 lumber when I go there instead of getting an extra army. Now, army, on the other hand, it could allow you to attack somebody else, another player, if you want to go that route. But there are bandits out in the cards as well. And those are straight up victory points. But you got to have a minimum of 3 army rolled to do it. So if you want to go that route, that's definitely a viable way. And then there's also ships that you can collect, and those are a lot of points.
Because you're shipping, basically.
Yeah, you're shipping stuff out.
Shipping resources out.
Yeah. So the chips are good. I mean, it's basic cardboard chips, nothing major. I think
it's upgradable.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely upgradable. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we probably should. We like this enough. But anyhow, that is Dice City. That is essentially how it plays. Very easy gameplay. Very quick gameplay. It is actually a very fast game. So, but that is Dice City. We both very much enjoy it. And this is in our collection and will stay in our collection.
So now we have a very old Game Right game. This is Dish Up.
Dish It Up.
Dish It Up. 1996.
Yeah.
Not
I
that
found
old.
this one at Goodwill for a couple of bucks. And I don't know, it just looked good. At the time, Justin was still, our oldest son, was working as a chef. And so anything that had to do with cooking, he usually caught my attention. So this one here is essentially a memory game with a little bit of a twist. And it is a kid's game. It is ages 4 and up. But the twist on this one, so you have all of your cards laid out on the table. Face down in your standard memory type square. Or memory type layout, I should say. Meanwhile, everybody is splitting up the diner checks. So if you're playing with 3 players, everybody's going to get 2, I think. I don't know, whatever. So you're getting your diner checks, and your whole goal is you're looking for matches out on the board, but you're looking for matches to your diner check, not to each other, to your diner check. So, for instance, if I were to match this guy and this guy, whoops, these 2, I don't have either of these on my check. Somebody else might, and I may have just given them a match if they can remember where they are, but this doesn't do me any good, so I flip them back over and my turn is over. However, if I find, oh, well, there's Timmy and his ball mat. That's straight up points right there. His ball mat, his ball glove, his ball and glove.
She's not into baseball.
No, I don't know what I'm saying here. Okay, but if I flip over and I find these 2, well, now I have a match. They don't have to be on the same check. This guy goes to this check, and this guy comes down to this check. So I get to claim both of these pieces and take another turn. First person to fill up all their checks is the winner. Mm-hmm. So it's just an interesting spin on memory where, like I said, you're not matching each of the tiles, although there are multiple tiles out there. You're just matching this. And then there's ones that immediately make you lose your turn. There's grumpy old men tiles, and my only complaint is the stupid paper money, but yeah, it's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's a 25-year-old game. What do you want, right?
This is a thicker paper money.
It is a thicker paper. I think Monopoly money.
It's not like paper Monopoly money.
No, this is actually pretty thick. It's nice paper. So that is Dish It Up. It is a cute memory game. We are going to go ahead and keep this one. I think it's an interesting twist on memory. And it was actually a lot of fun. We had a good time with this one. So that is Dish It Up.
Next we have
Dick Tracy.
The Dick Tracy game.
All right, so this one is played on a central board, basic board, and the whole goal of this game is it's a roll and move. You're rolling and moving around the board, and different spaces do different things. So your ultimate goal is to capture as many of the criminals as you can, and each of the criminals are in little red pouches on each of their things, and it tells you what their crime was. It tells you who they are, what their crime was, and what weapon they're using. The crime will give you your points at the end of the game. So you want guys who have more heinous crimes because there are more points. But you're also not wanting to get the guys that have the really dangerous weapons that you can't defeat.
Like a bomb.
Like a bomb. So the weapons run from a fist to a bomb. A fist, brass knuckles, gun, machine gun, a bath, and a bomb. So when you pull somebody up, when you go to capture them, you land on their space, on the keyhole next to their space. Then you can check to see what they've got, decide if you want to try to apprehend them, and then spin the spinner to see if you can. If you're able to apprehend them, you take them into your possession, and at that point, your goal is to get them back to the police station so nobody can take them from you. So, and then at the end of the game, when all of the criminals have been apprehended, the game is over and you count up points. Super easy roll and move game. There are Dick Tracy cards that allow you to, they give you special things. They give you, hey, you can defeat any one bomb, or jailbreak. You can let somebody out of jail. So now you give them new information and there's more people out there to go find to get more points. It was a cute little mystery game. Well, not even really a mystery game. It was more just a roll and move.
Yeah, roll and move, pick them up, spin. Yeah, spin the spinner.
Spinner. Yeah,
that could have been a dice.
Well, yes, of course it could have been, but it was also 25 years ago. So what do you want? I suspect. I don't know. We never did find the date on this one. But anyway, I think we decided we're going to go ahead and hold on to this one. It is the only thing we have of this genre.
And it's bright and colorful.
It's bright. Can't get much brighter than this box. That's for sure. So we will we'll see how it does. So anyway, that is Dick Tracy game.
Okay, so we're going from Dick Tracy to Paris with Dinner in Paris. This has nothing about dinner.
No. Nope.
There's no food. There's no cooking. There's no serving in this game.
There's food because you have to have food.
No food. There's a restaurant.
You have to have food resources in order to open the restaurants. There's food on the cards. Okay. There is food.
I'll give her that.
This one is played on a central square in Paris, and it'll be easier to show you here than I'll pull the board out. The board is double-sided, so it scales based on player count, which I love. There are different features in the square. There's a fountain in the middle. There's a couple of live bands. There's street lights. There's garden areas that you have to kind of work around. The whole goal of this game is to get your restaurants opened up around the outer edge of the game, of the outer edge of the square, and then start building your terraces. And your terraces are where your points come from. You do get points for opening the restaurants, but the bulk of your points are going to come from getting your terraces out. And your stretch, and you can, as you can kind of, hopefully you can see from this red one, you can kind of stretch out however you want to go.
Yeah, because each terrace piece is only a little square. They're not polyominoes.
No, they're not polyominoes. But placement rules prevent you from placing next to somebody else's. You have to leave that barrier of the sidewalk in between your terrace and somebody else's. So first person wins. Early bird gets the worm, as they say. But the terraces are just these little bitty chips. This is kind of a little rough to work with, but it works. But what I really like about this game, the cards are phenomenal. Everything is very good quality. But what I really, really like about this game are the restaurants. So these are the restaurants you're putting out on the side of the board. And each player has a set of name tags that lay on top of the restaurant so that everybody can see who belongs to what restaurant. And I love that. I thought that was very, very neat attention to detail. On top of all that, there are cards. You've got resource cards that are food-based. These are what you use to open your restaurants. There are pigeon cards. When you cover up a pigeon on the board with your terrace, you get a pigeon card, and these give you special one-time powers. Like this one says you can place terrace adjacent to other people's. So, which is normally you can't do. Draw up to 2 resource cards. You can open a restaurant using 1 less ingredient. So just different things. And then, of course, the game, a little variability. Goals. There are goal cards. Yeah, so you put goal cards out that give the whole thing a little bit of variability toward the end. So you have different things you're striving for each round or each game. So that is Dinner in Paris. Really enjoy this one. We actually just did a video on it. I just started editing it. So hopefully that'll be up soon. But yeah, this is in our collection. It will stay there. We both very much enjoy this one. I would be very curious to try this with more players. We've only ever done it 2-player. I really want to play this with more.
And Quapla Nerds wants to play it anyway.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, good deal. Well, guess who we're going to play it with then? All right, anyway, that is Dinner in Paris.
Next, we have Discover Land Unknown. This is a cooperative-ish game because most cooperative games, if somebody dies, the game's over. The
mission's over.
This one, if somebody dies, you can go over and take some of their stuff and leave their body for the vultures. I mean,
Yes, actually, they do not say that in the book, but yeah, that is essentially
That's
what
pretty
you
much
can
what
do.
it is, because you're out in the
So,
wilderness
yeah.
or in the snow-covered
Yeah.
lands, and
This game was designed, and it says on the box, no two boxes are alike.
so it's kind of like Keyforge. How Keyforge had different. Every
Yes.
deck was different. This is every
box is
box
different.
of this is different.
So the game was designed with 6 different types of terrain. Each box came with 2.
Mhm.
It has 36 different characters you can play. Each box comes with 12. There are monster cards and resource cards and all sorts of different decks in there, and they're all just slightly different. So we ended up with
We had the
forest and the winter, winter snow peaks or something. Yeah, I don't know. But I do like the fact that one thing I do like about it, it comes with a central rule book, and this is the same in every box. But they give you rule books specific to your territories, so you're not stuck with all the rule books for territories you don't.
Well, they're
own.
reference.
They're reference sheets,
basically.
So I like that. I like the player health trackers. These are good. I have no complaints about those. The board is all designed out of hex tiles.
Yeah, I mean the components,
are
pretty
great.
Good.
Even these, they're just chips, but I mean they're still great. There's plenty
nice.
of them.
You know what they are, and
so
the downfall of this game is this right here.
Yeah. Okay, so we've played this twice now. Our goal was actually to play through the whole scenario, all 5 scenarios, and then move it over into the other room for other people to enjoy.
Because it has 4 scenarios. The 5th one is kind of scenario, but then it's player versus player.
It's player versus player. You use all the tiles. It's kind of a free for all. I'm like, okay, that's not really a scenario, but okay. So we figured we'd skip that one, but we want to play through the other 4. And I remember kind of liking it the first time, being intrigued by it the first time.
Yeah.
Because it is. You're moving around a map. You're looking for things. There are
you're uncovering maps.
Yep. As different tiles are revealed. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. You are revealing different icons on each of the tiles. So you're putting chits out. And then as you go to those areas, you can pick up the chit and see what it does. There are monsters. There are animals. There's wood. There's stone. There's waters. There's all sorts of different things. There's poison. So I remember being intrigued by it on the first one, thinking we need to play through the rest of these. And we played it yesterday, day before last, something like that.
We won problem after
barely,
problem.
But there were so many things we had questions on that we could not find in the rule book. It was disheartening. Maybe some of the other reference sheets explain them better. I don't know. The biggest thing was landmarks. Part of our scenario requirement was we had to find 2 landmarks. And of course, they were on the last 2 tiles we turned over because that's the way it works. Always. But there's no explanation in here about landmarks. So nothing, not even a blurb. At least not that we could find. And we looked through this book a dozen times. So, I mean, if we missed it, please tell us. But I think we've decided that this one's going to hit the sale pile. I'm hoping maybe somebody who's looking for these 2 types of terrain. If you like this game and you're looking for these 2 types of terrain, hit us up in the comments. Intriguing game. Not something we're ever going to pull off again. We have other games that do this, and I think honestly do it better. But and it's just not something I want to try to explain to somebody in the travel collection. So, but anyway, that is Discover Lands Unknown. It is going to hit the sale pile.
Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of
comparison. Okay,
but first we're going to talk about each game. This is our Dino series. This is Duelosaur Island.
Okay.
This is basically a 2-player version of Dinosaur Island.
Right. Well, pull Dinosaur. Let me explain it first, because that one is really where it started. All right, so Dinosaur Island. And this one we have Totally Liquid as well. though again, being an expansion, we didn't play it for this challenge. Dinosaur Island is all about building your dinosaur park. So everybody has, and they're on the bottom. No, they're actually in the other box. They're not even in this box. Everybody basically has 2-player boards. You have your tracking board that you track all your DNA on, that you track all of your upgrades to your park services type of thing, to your security, your threat levels, all of that is on one board. And then your other board is your physical park. And that's where you are building out paddocks for dinosaurs that you can later build dinosaurs on and put in your park. You are building out entertainment areas, food parks, concession stands, souvenir things, rides, stuff like that. So you're building all of this on your park board. Meanwhile, and this game plays in a number of phases, and that's the one thing I really like about this game is it is very, very clear on your phases. Phase 1, somebody rolls all the dice, and you are bidding 3 times on what dice you want, whether you want to build which paddock you want, or if you want to upgrade your cold storage for your DNA. That's it. Then you move into phase 2, and now you are spending your money. You can take 2 turns to spend money on getting specialist cards that have special that have abilities, game long abilities, some game end abilities, things like that. You can buy new paddocks. You can build upgrades to your park services. Phase 3 is you're using your workers. So you start out with, I think, 4 or 5 workers, and you can get more throughout the game with your specialists, but you are using your workers to build dinosaurs, to increase your security, to exchange DNA so you can build dinosaurs.
That's where where the paddock, the expansion.
That's right. That's where that comes in. So
can't believe we only played this a few days ago.
Right. So you are doing, that's right, because during the money phase is when you buy these.
Yes.
When you buy your entertainment stuff. But so
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in this game. Agreed. So you are, during phase 3, you are spending your workers and spending more money to do various things and upgrade everything. To build dinosaurs, upgrade security, get more money. You can use some of your guys just to get extra money. And then during phase 4,
build dinosaurs.
And then during phase 4 is when your visitors come. And now is when you pull out of the bag the number of visitors or hooligans to come to your park and hopefully pay you money. So you fill up your park with the number of visitors that you can fit. Hooligans go first because, they skip lines and don't pay you anything and just basically cause trouble. And then during the last phase of the game, you are evaluating your security, in which case you are looking at how much security presence you have versus how much excitement you have in your park due to all the dinosaurs you've built, and then potentially letting them eat your people. Yeah. So I lost quite a few people in this last game. I don't know how
you kept getting hooligans.
I did. Oh my gosh, I had a rough start to this game. And I've always enjoyed this game. I really have. This is in our collection. We have the totally liquid expansion. We're going to go ahead and keep both. My only complaint with this game, and we have since upgraded, but my one complaint in this game is the fact that all the dinosaurs, they used one, I've got a visitor. They use one type of dinosaur for everything. We have since upgraded, and I've gotten ones for... So now, for Duelosaur Island. Duelosaur Island is very, very similar, but it is a different game. This one is geared entirely toward 2 players. This one takes Dinosaur Island and makes it a little easier and a little more manageable for 2 players. Because this one is a bear to get to the table. There is a lot going on. This guy, here, let's go ahead and stick him aside for a moment. Gosh, that's heavy. Duelosaur Island, you have your central boards. Then this outlines your phases. You got your scoreboard, your excitement level, your public relations, which is something new, and then your main board, which has your specialists and your dice and everything on it. So this is your player board. So your player board is set up that instead of tiles, you have cards. And you're going to pick up your cards. You pick up cards in a number of different ways in the game. When you're putting the cards out, you are either paying the money to put it out this way. And if you want to use it for the attraction, you put it on the bottom of your board. Or you're paying the DNA to put out the dinosaur on the top of your board. And then at that point, you are also upgrading your threat level and your excitement level and everything else. And excitement level gets you visitors, which ultimately wins the game.
Attractions get you other things.
Attractions can get you additional cards. When you go to pull cards, it can get you extra bonuses from the PR track up here. Or it can get you just straight up money from the restaurants. So I think it's a lot simpler of a game, all in all. I like the addition of the PR bonuses every round. Every player is getting a PR bonus. The person who is furthest behind on the excitement track is deciding on what PR bonus they want from where the tile currently sits, and it moves up each round and the bonuses get better and better. And then the other player has to choose from either even further back from that as to what they want. And the bonuses range. It's a, one single basic DNA, a card in a DNA, advanced DNA, both money plus DNA. So they get better and better throughout the game. But I like this one as a 2-player game. It is so simple. There are no physical dinosaurs to work with. There's no player pieces to work with. You are spending money or you are spending DNA, and that is it. Very simple. I think it's a nice addition to the Dinosaur World.
The Pandasaurus Dinosaur World?
Yes, the Pandasaurus Dinosaur World. Hey, I got it. Oh. I'm so proud of myself for getting the box lid on right, and I left the dice out. Oops. All right. So anyway, that is Duelosaur Island.
Next one is Dinosaur World.
Oh, do that noise again? That was kind of funny. You don't usually make that noise. All right. Dinosaur World is the latest addition to the Pandasaurus dinosaur games. So this one here, you are building your park. And you are building it out. So these are the central boards where all of the tiles are placed out on. But each player has their own board. If I can get to them down here. So each player starts with this board and 3 hexagon tiles. And I know I'm not pulling out the right one, but you get the idea. So you pull out 3 hexagon tiles that start somewhere here. And as the game goes on, you're paying money to add tiles to your park. The challenge on this one comes in with, and of course you still have your DNA tracks. You're still tracking all your DNA and your threat level and everything else, just like
now you have
like normal. Yes, now you also have a Jeeple track. The Jeeples are what sets this game aside from the others just a little bit. So in the Jeeples, oh, there's one right there. You get this little bitty Jeeple meeple right there, if you can see him. You get this little bitty Jeeple that at one point each round, you are going to take him based on what your score is here and how far you can move, how far you've upgraded that. You are going to move him through, I've got this upside down. You are going to move him through your park to all the different tiles. And you can move anywhere from, I think, 1 to 4, no, 5 spaces, 2 to 5 spaces. So if you can get them all the way up to 5, you're doing a tour of 5 different tiles. And as you're hitting each tile, you're activating those tiles and doing what they allow you to do. Some of which is some of them are dinosaur exhibits. And you get excitement level from that. You get money from that, from people visiting the dinosaurs. Some of them are restaurants, which just give you flat out money. Some of them are things that will give you extra security or whatnot. There's a number of different tiles in the game. The trick with doing this, though, is that as you are visiting all the different tiles, every time you visit a tile, your excitement level goes down.
on
So,
that part.
on
'Cause each
that
one
piece of it.
starts with a 4.
Each one starts with a base amount of excitement on it, and then each time you visit it, the excitement level goes down. And eventually it starts causing you problems if you visit that tile too often. So you're trying to strategically lay stuff out so that you can hit certain ones without hitting the ones that are now negative to go to, because they're boring now. Nobody wants to see those things anymore. So it's a very interesting game. I like this one.
Yes.
It definitely gives you more of the world building flavor to it. Again, a lot going on though. There's definitely a lot going on in this one. I do like this one. The dinosaurs are all different. They're all plastic meeples, but they're all different screen painted meeples. The money is fantastic. It comes with the metal coins. Now, we got the deluxe Kickstarter version. We didn't get it on Kickstarter. We bought it at the store, but it was the deluxe Kickstarter version. So I would assume these are probably cardboard in the normal retail, but I don't know. But anyway, beautiful production. Really enjoy this one. Hold on, let me put the meeples back. Everything's screen printed. It's gorgeous. So that is
Dinosaur World.
That is Dinosaur World.
So the last dinosaur game we have is an older one.
I'm just going to shove this guy aside because he's too heavy to...
This is Dinogenics. This one I feel is more about, I think it's more real feeling about building a park than any of the other ones were.
I feel like the other ones have more of a cartoony feel to them. And that's not the game, that's the artwork.
Yeah.
This one, the artwork makes it feel a little more realistic.
Yes. Because it's all the really detailed artwork.
Yes. So this guy is played on a central board. It's essentially worker placement. This is about as worker placement as it gets. Everybody has their park board. And this one, you are not tracking DNA in this one. There are no dice to roll. Well, there are dice to roll, but that's something different. But everybody has their park board where you are...
You're really going to dig that out?
Why not? Okay, so here's your park board. So throughout the game, you are... Did I seriously hold it upside down? Okay. So throughout the game, you are going to fill in this board. You start with one hotel that accepts 2 guests, and that's all you get to start with. The player pieces are going out onto a central board, which has a number of different areas that you can do a number of different things at. You can pick up resource cards or dinosaur cards. I'm sorry. You can pick up DNA cards. You can pick up agency cards. You can go to pick up tiles to fill in your board with, and at the same time pick up pens for your fences to pen in your dinosaurs. You can pick up goats
that you got to have to feed to the meat eaters.
You actually have to feed your meat eaters on this one. Yes. There's a spot where you can go just get a coin and an extra visitor if you want to do that. There's a reason to do so. There are spots where you can go to turn in DNA cards to get dinosaurs. And they have all different kinds of dinosaur meeples, and these are all the wooden ones. There are, oh my gosh, I know there's a ton of different areas. There's an area where you can go scrounge for DNA from the boneyard, but you get a scandal token when you do that. Scandal tokens are negative. They're negative points at the end of the game. You don't want those.
6 points per token.
Yeah, that's kind of ugly. So DNA cards is where the difference really lies in this game. Whereas in all the other dinosaur games we have, you are tracking your DNA one piece at a time. With this one, you are looking for DNA based on a card type. So to build a Stegosaurus, you have to have 3 pieces of Stegosaurus DNA.
You have 3 cards.
So 3 cards, right. Now, the nice thing is the card tells you exactly. It tells you what their little bonus feature is. Like the Stegosaurus, they're a crowd pleaser. During upkeep, if you have one of these in your park, you get an extra coin every round. That's kind of nice. It tells you how big their pen has to be on your board. How big are you making those fences? gives you your victory points and your reputation points, and reputation points determines first player. Victory points obviously is victory points every round after they have been. So every season you get those victory points. So DNA is tracked very differently because it's all card play. But the hard part is now you have to go places to get this DNA. You have to actually find it. You can't just pick up a dice with it on there or trade it in for other DNA like you could in the other games. The game is tracked in a series of rounds. So you play 7 seasons. But at the end of each round, you're going to get the visitors that come to your park based on player order. So whoever is first in player order is going to get the most. So being first in player order is really important. What I really like about this one is all the different dinosaur meeples. They did not skip on these. These are all wooden, beautiful meeples, different shapes for every single dinosaur. I really, really like these. They are beautiful, beautiful meeples. So, but anyway, that is Dinogenics. Now that I've torn this box apart.
Now, there's a couple things in here that is actually makes it kind of cool too. Is the rampage part? If you don't feed your dinosaurs, they're going to rampage. You're going to roll a dice to see if anything happens.
And I like the fact that that's mitigatable.
Yes, it is. All you have to do is make sure you went and got some goats for them.
They only rampage on rare occasions if the event card says so.
Right.
But that doesn't happen, and you only play 7 seasons. You have a stack of event cards.
And there's only certain ways that it causes rampage. 1, if you didn't feed a meat eater a goat. 2, if you got a dinosaur in the wrong size pin, if it's too small for them, they'll do it. Or if you've got 2 different types of dinosaurs in one, except there is one out there that you can put into anything and it doesn't affect it. But like I said, it mitigates it. 5 of the 6 sided on that dice you're going to roll are bad anyway. Plus the one with the little smiley face, which means they really enjoyed it, thought it was part of the show. They're going to give you money because you rolled that part on the dice.
So
also building the pins. Unlike in like Agricola or Caverna, where you build a field and you're done. I think it's Agricola when you build it. Oh, this is only going to be a 4. You're done. This one you can move them around.
Every time you buy fences, you have the ability to alter your park.
Yeah, you can alter the
pens.
So
you can alter your pens as to where you have them. Now, any tiles you've laid down in that part, yes, they have to stay.
Yeah, but the pen itself can go from a little bitty square to a larger one, and it doesn't matter if the dinosaurs are in it or not. They're not going to go anywhere. And there's even a dinosaur in there that doesn't need a pen.
Unless you end your turn without them penned up, then it's a problem. So
out of all of the 4 games that we have that are dinosaur based,
if I can get them off of the stack, here we go.
What one is your favorite?
Okay, so if I had to choose, which one do I want to play? I don't want to agree with him, and he's shut up.
She knows it.
So I know this is his favorite. We played this at the Dice Tower retreat last year, and the guy we were playing it with says, "Oh, good luck. This has been out of print since it got off of Kickstarter. They never did another print run of it." Or something.
Well, they did once they did the expansion, but still,
it had been out of print for a while, and so he immediately got on to some of the online sites and found a copy while we were still playing the game. We were in the process of putting it up. He goes, "Oh, found one." Way more money than I wanted to spend on it, but
it was shipping included in there,
but the fact that it was, when we looked at where it was and we contacted the guy. He was in Indianapolis. He's 15 miles from us. So it was kind of like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So we bought it. And we've played it several times, and we both do really enjoy it. So if I had to pick between these 4, yes, this is probably the first one to come off the shelf, because it is not, I don't feel it is as hard to pick back up.
No, it's not. It was really easy. We watched a video to remind us how to play it, and we picked it back up.
Yeah, it was very easy, and a lot of the steps are very intuitive. And these are two, but I felt like I was constantly forgetting a thing or two or whatever. But anyway, I do enjoy them all.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I do really enjoy all
This
the
one
games.
you'll like even more once you get to figure out how to do the agency cards.
Don't get
Or
me
learn
wrong.
to beat me to the agency cards.
That's the crux. Yeah, that's the problem. So, but anyway, this one is definitely my favorite of the four. If I had to pick between these three, I honestly think Dinosaur World.
Yep. Dinosaur
because
World.
it's just a bigger puzzle. That whole Jeeple and only activating certain things that you can reach within your Jeeple movement, that really changes things up.
I feel that
I like
Dinosaur World is the cartoon version of Dinogenics.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah. These two are so similar. But again, just for sake of ease, this one will probably come off more often
Duelosaur Island,
because it is so easy to set up and it's all
we'll have to agree.
Yeah. So, well, I do like
We
this one,
agreed
and
on
we
things.
need to. I know, right? We need to get it out with Totally Liquid and play Totally Liquid with it at some point. So anyhow, that is everything for this episode. All of our Disneys, all of our dice, all of our dinosaurs.
Yep.
Next episode, we have a whole bunch of don'ts. So, anyhow.
Until then, we'll see you at the next one.